Some people believe that we really are aligning our reality to call in what we're asking for, and others believe that because we're putting focus on that thing, we're seeing it more out in life. But what I want to say is it's all the same because the result is the same. So, we have already talked about the technical and spiritual definitions of frequency. And just to review a little bit, when we talk about the frequency of ourselves as individuals, we know that frequency means the rate at which something is moving or oscillating. So, when we talk about the frequency of who we are, of our being, or aligning ourselves with the frequency of the things that we want, we know that all things in this world have a certain frequency. And so we are talking about energetically aligning to the same realm, the same frequency that the things that we want are on. I've noticed that I will try to listen to certain artists or albums or read books, and it just will not resonate. Like, I cannot get into it. I'm something about it I'm just not meshing with whatsoever. And then I find myself a year later, a couple years later, loving that same thing. A great example of this for me is Cleo Sol. When I first heard Cleo Sol's music, I didn't think it was terrible, but I was like, I'm not understanding how people like this. It kind of sounds the same, or it's just like really like almost like it wasn't stimulating enough, which is wild because when I was on my deepest journey to knowing myself, when I was the deepest I've been into meditation, just learning about self in general and healing specifically, I listened to Cleo Sol daily. She was a major part of my healing, and I still listen to her to this day. That is because I was not on the frequency, or I should say in alignment with her as an artist, with the message she was putting out in her music and what she was saying in her music. At the time when I first heard it, I just wasn't hungry for that. I didn't have a need for it. I wasn't at a space of even being able to conceptualize it or receive it. I find this concept happening so much in my life. I just did a whole series about The Alchemist. And in that series, I mentioned how I had been recommended The Alchemist multiple times over multiple years. I had tried reading it. I had tried listening to it on Audible, and every time I was like, I don't get what they're saying. They're telling me a story. I don't care about the story. And this last time of reading it, it's one of the most influential books that I've read, which is crazy because the culmination of my personal experiences that I had gone through between that time, the culmination of my perspective, the space of which I was needing, like the lessons that I was learning in my life at this specific time versus then, have created the what we would call individual frequency, or the space that I'm in was now in alignment with what that book was trying to tell me. We align with what is in alignment with us at that time. So when law of attraction is talking about attracting like things, when I'm in a space of healing, when I'm in a space of a lot of retrospection and, trying to understand myself and others, I find that those type of conversations come up more brought up by others to me that I'm around. I find that books are recommended to me that I hadn't even heard of before, that correlate to what I've been researching or what I've been experiencing. I find even YouTube videos, even the creators that I encounter in those times, I find people that are so niche and so specific to that period of time that I'm in without me searching online. I know that there's a search history without me even Googling online, hey, this is what I'm going through. These people are being attracted to me. And I do want to address the fact that there are many schools of thoughts around this. Some people believe that we really are aligning our reality to call in what we're asking for. And others believe that because we're putting focus on that thing, we're seeing it more out in life. Not that we're creating them, those opportunities or those experiences to us, but because we are focusing on that so much, we're able to spot it in our lives more. But what I want to say is it's all the same because the result is the same. Whether I am creating a world where literally every step, if I say I want a free parking spot, it becomes open and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this. Or if I say I want to make more money and then I'm finding that I have more opportunities to make more money, whether that's the case, or on the flip side, if it's true that because I said I want more money, I'm now more vigilant in being able to see opportunities to make more money that were always there but weren't visible to me. Either way, the fact remains the same, that my reality is that I am being attracted. These things are becoming my reality that I'm walking every day. Within the science of quantum physics, there is the quantum observer effect. And this says the act of observing or measuring a particle forces it to settle into a definite physical state. This essentially means that at a microscopic state, things become definite in our world when they're observed. Okay? So when I'm observing and aligning myself with things, goals that I have, or even specific feelings, okay? If I am aligning myself with the things that I aspire to be and the things that I aspire to feel, it will either bring that into my reality, or the fact that I'm observing that and I'm calling that intention and I'm observing it more creates the reality and creates the opportunities for me to observe and to pick them out and to know that they are real. So in conclusion, be intentional about the frequency or what you align yourself to, because it will not only attract those things to you, but it will allow you to refine your attention and your observation in alignment of those things. You will become better at seeing the opportunities that are in alignment with who you want to be or the thing that you are wanting to experience. And I know that there are a lot of instances that we look at something and we say, this is not what I've wanted to call in. This is not something that I want, so why am I experiencing it now? But it is very layered. It is very layered as far as the things that we say we want versus what we subconsciously want, which I have another video explaining that. I'll put up here. Talks about, are we creating our own heaven or are we creating our own hell? Dives deeper into that. I want to share with you all the vibrational scale of emotional states. This scale shows us the frequencies that emotions evoke within us. This shows us the way that our emotions show up on a frequency level, and really the ranking of how high of a frequency we are. And we can see that the higher on the scale, the higher the frequency, you're in an expansive state. The lower on the scale, you're in a contractive state, meaning that you're contracting as opposed to being expansive and becoming more and vibrating more, reaching more, and taking in more of what you're bringing out. And a contractive state, you're very closed off, would be the equivalent of that. So when you're thinking of how you want to feel and wanting to ascend to higher feelings, think of this chart. Think of the things that you want to feel. Know that love, peace, empowerment are the highest frequencies we can feel. Know that there are ways for you to get from a feeling of fear and anxiety or scarcity to a space of pure love. If the quickest way to jump from a lower frequency to a higher one is gratitude. That's the quickest way. When you are in a space of negativity or of contraction, the quickest way to jump up is to think of people you love, think of things that are making you feel grateful, things that you already have that you are so grateful for, that bring you joy, that make you feel empowered. Think of gratitude, think of what you already have and how you already own it, as opposed to being afraid of not having it or the scarcity of not having it. So I hope that this video provided clarity on law of attraction and how it relates to frequency. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.